one of the really interesting pieces that's happened recently is that solar prices have just completely plummeted.
This episode of CU Live is sponsored by our friends at MORPC, the Mid-Ohio Regional Planning Commission, and features stories about local and regional partners that envision and embrace innovative directions in economic prosperity, transportation, sustainability, and an inclusive Central Ohio. MORPC's transformative programming, innovative services, and public policy initiatives are designed to promote and support the vitality and growth in the region. For more information, visit morpc.org or click the link in the video description.
Hello, welcome to CU Live. I'm Susan Post, Associate Editor of Columbus Underground, and I have with me today Jon-Paul D'Aversa, who's the Senior Energy Planner at the Mid-Ohio Regional Planning Commission, or MORPC, as people might be more familiar with. So in 2018, MORPC released the Franklin County Energy Study and Recommendations, which provide insight into the energy use of residents and businesses, what's working well, what needs work. So as the Columbus region continues to grow, how are our energy needs going to change?
So, thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
There's a whole bunch of ways in which this is going to change. Some of the most important ones is that our energy needs are going to increase. And as they increase, we need to build out more infrastructure to provide for that. And so at the same time that our energy needs are increasing, our energy prices go up because we need to pay for this. And so we need to be really mindful. Energy efficiency was a huge component of that study. So we can kind of mitigate those changes that we might see down the road.
Right. So the region and Columbus specifically are seeing some movement when it comes to alternative energy sources. For example, it was announced recently that there's going to be a large solar facility constructed on the south side of town on a 173 acre lot, I believe. And in MORPC's energy study, it really outlines some ways to increase local renewable energy generation. So that's one example, but tell us about what some of those other options are.
Sure. So one of the really interesting pieces that's happened recently is that solar prices have just completely plummeted, and right now utility scale solar is the cheapest form of electricity generated.
Is there a reason that they've plummeted recently?
It's primarily that the technology has increased and our ability to manufacture those panels has increased, as well. The infrastructure behind that manufacturing has also increased all around the world, and so the market is it's down right now, and so it's a great time to buy and put them in. So some of the things that we love to see as we're looking at sustainability and how to improve our stewardship of our resources is looking at how we can make this local. So not only do we think that solar should be happening in Ohio, but we should see it right here in the region as well. So whether that's on a home or down at Swaco or City of Columbus is looking at putting some of them on their buildings as well.
Nice.
We want to see all of this because it also has that economic impact, which is huge. So when you go to the farmer's market and you buy eggs from your farmer, you're supporting your local economy. Same with solar panels when you put them on your home or in your city.
Well, that ties into my next question, actually. Another part of that study was really talking about all the opportunity that there is for job creation in the clean energy field. So tell us a little bit more about what that could look like in the region and how many jobs that could potentially produce.
Sure. So that's a really interesting piece because there's two components to that. One is the job itself and training people to do the jobs. And so we see with renewable energy and energy efficiency, currently it's the healthiest way for us to supply our energy needs, right? And so it's going to be around for a while. So we know that if we train people to go into these positions, they will have job security for years to come. At the same time, there's another component that we have to look at, and this is a result of some of our communities that have been historically disinvested in. But being ready for those jobs, job readiness programs, that's almost a more important component to that, to ensure that people get to a point where they can be successful in this work.
I mean, What would some of those job readiness programs look like, or what would some of these positions be that could potentially kind of come out of this clean energy boom?
Sure. So I can't speak to the job readiness programs. That's not necessarily my area of expertise. But what we want to see is people doing home energy audits. We want to see them installing LED lights and being the installers of these, installing solar panels, doing the assessments for them. I mean, doing a solar assessment on a home is a relatively simple process. Very minimal math. These are very accessible jobs, but they're high paying. And so they have the opportunity to really improve the communities right here.
Absolutely. Great. Well, obviously there is so much more to explore and so many more pieces of that report. So we'll have a link to that below the video. You can also check it out on MORPC's website, which we highly encourage you to do. So thank you so much, Jon-Paul, for giving us a little bit of insight about some of those pieces of the report.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.